episode 280, The Home Front. This is the Change Underground. I'm your host, John Moore. Decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. This episode is about what's going on here in Highclere, Tasmania. If you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment on the transcript over at worldorganicnews.com/280. A big shout out to Vicky who did just that this last week. I hope the answer helped, Vic, and thanks for asking. Now to the home front. Nothing gives us a clue to the season like the animals. 2 hens went broody, one hatched 13 chicks and the other none. Those 13 though are now a couple of weeks old and growing their true feathers. Mum has harboured them well and all 13 have survived so far. Scurrying around in front of, beside and behind her, they look like small fighter planes buzzing around the mothership. The ducks started earlier than the chooks to go broody, but with nil success so far. Yet we are still receiving duck eggs for our consumption, even if the nests are resulting in a 31-day rest for the sitting duck. Whilst the chooks and ducks have been sitting earlier this year than others, the raspberries are about 3 weeks behind where they usually are. They were sporadically flowering and fruiting during all of last winter. This may have bumped the main crop back a bit, or they just started late because of the extremely wet winter. No matter, we will be harvesting raspberries in late January, if not earlier. The apples and pears flowered as per the normal schedule, but during the wettest part of the spring, so to that end, and the slightly cooler effect the rain brought with it, bees were noticeably absent from the flowering period. I did spot some bumblebees and a few honeybees a fortnight ago, but I'm not expecting a bumper crop this year. And this is a shame because nothing tastes as good as an apple picked straight from the branch, especially on a coolish autumn morning. The pigs have been doing a Heraclean job over the past 2 years. Areas where they have worked their magic, the soils are so much improved. Even the areas where I was in error and left them on a piece of ground a bit too long have bounced back and are very, very productive. Along the boundary between the pigged over area and the non-pigged is a distinct colour difference. The pigged area is a much deeper green, right up to the electric fence line. I did wonder if the fence had been the cause of this, but I doubt it. Well, it never hurts to check these hypotheses. The deeper green is only on the side, the pig side of the line, not equidistant on both sides of the electric fence, so I concluded the pigs were responsible, not the fence. Salt has been procured and a butcher's saw and a couple of 200-litre barrels, all ready for the conversion of pigs to pork, ham and bacon. We also have a sausage machine on the Mixmaster, so that'll be fun too. Last Sunday I ran the ride-on mower, or as it is more dramatically called by Northwest Mowers and the John Deere Company, the lawn tractor, which just makes me laugh, over a 10 by 8 metre patch in preparation for the blue corn. I've had the chooks and ducks feeding in there on and off, manuring and scratching up and whatnot, and then I've just slashed everything that was left. I followed this up with a minimum tillage rotation to about 3 to 5 centimetres in an attempt to knock out the perennial grasses. I doubt it will have worked, but it should slow them down enough to get the corn up and photosynthesising. The corn needed to be in by the 1st of December, and I had it in last Thursday, the 25th. And that night we received 24 mils, which was wonderful of rain. It should be harvestable around late March, early April. This variety, Hopi Blue, has been selected to ripen into a cool, damp autumn. So that's the northwest of Tasmania to a T. I did grow this variety back in the Blue Mountains, which once had a similar summer climate to here, but doesn't anymore. So I am therefore hopeful for a good harvest. Most of the seed will be saved to expand the area under blue corn next summer. I'm seeing a Fukuoka rotation with blue corn and winter spelt and some buckwheat and chickpeas from time to time. But time will tell with these things. To the east of and downhill from this corn patch is the winter spelt. My first time growing this, and it has been an education, and it has done all the things I expected. It looks magnificent, with the seed heads now protruding above the massive vegetation. This, as with the blue corn, will be mostly saved for sowing next autumn-winter, depending upon the seasons. I planted some wheat from cheap chook food seeds. It was growing okay, but it is on an area where the pigs have never worked their magic, and the soil is much thinner than the rest of the block and grey in colour, not the rich red of the rest of the place. This grew okay, but I'm tossing up with the idea of simply slashing the patch over after oversowing it with buckwheat. And buckwheat is rapidly becoming my go-to seed for fill-in jobs. It seems to do best on the less ideal soil conditions and is quick. 6 to 8 weeks quick, in fact. The seeds will then self-sow where they stand and concentrate phosphorus according to the older sources. And it does keep the ground covered when I've got nothing else to put in. Now we have 2 patches of oats, one on the thinner soil, and they've done okay, more seed as a percentage of leaf compared with the other patch. The second patch has produced large amounts of leaf as well as a good seed return. And this second patch is on the rich red soil and has produced so much organic matter as to smother any weed competition, which was sort of what I was hoping for. These I shall oversow with buckwheat to start a Fukuoka cycle there, and in autumn spelt will follow. I've also found some chickpea seeds. These are an experiment based upon the idea that we live in a Mediterranean climate, and these are a quintessentially Mediterranean crop. Now, depending on the source, they grow themselves, or they are nearly impossible to grow anywhere. Time will tell. They are in beside the blue corn with some possibility of nitrogen transfer to the corn. Both the chickpeas and the blue corn are easily watered, and should this be necessary. The chickpeas apparently need a prolonged period of dry, sunny weather, which we've received each summer we've been here, from sort of 4 to 8 weeks over late summer. We've just been declared by the Bureau of Meteorology to be in a La Niña event again this summer, so the dryish period should be at the longer end of that range. When we're in a La Niña, all the rain seems to hit the mainland and the east coast of Tasmania. On the question of forecasts, the Bureau is pointing to an 80 to 90% warmer daytime and nighttime temperatures over the next 3 months. And this should benefit the corn and the chickpeas, but may not be ideal for the buckwheat. We shall see. Now, in the areas between the grain patches, a mixed species of improved pasture. I use improved inverted commas there, so basically ryegrass and clover. But we've also got a fair amount of vetch coming through as well. Now, these have been tending towards more leguminous mix over time, but there's still plenty of ryegrass there too. And I have these areas are just wide enough to run the sickle bar mower through to create a cut and drop mulch. Where these areas are not strongly established, I'm putting in pumpkins, a variety known as Jack Be Little. These are very small pumpkins that fit into the palm of your hand, many fruits on each vine, easily stored, good pig and chook food, and apparently pretty good eating for humans too, and very attractive they do look. They may be a good cash crop to sell out the front of the place in a little stand. That's where we're up to here in Highclere. Hopefully this has inspired some of you to pick your favourite crop or crops and get your hands in the soil, or over the soil anyway, remembering that nature layers but rarely digs. My aim, hope and fervent desire is to set an example to change people's mindsets by growing as much of our own food as possible. So let's show the world what can be done. After all, we only need to convince 1 in 10 to move from consumption to production to hit the Bill Mollison tipping point, where he reckons we'll all be okay. And if you're ready to make that leap into growing your own food, there's the ebook over at the website. Just find the tab at the top of the page or in the hamburger. And there's also a quick course there for you too, if you're interested in signing up for that. Decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. Thank you all for listening. I'll be back next week.